So Puck does indeed lie, and he makes a shitty final villain. You're telling me, after this entire series, after watching this series for 25 episodes, it ends on the power of feelings will overcome a cube boss. The power of feelings will overcome a cube boss. Picture this for a second. The final boss was a giant-ass cube. An Eggo block. Let's call it a fucking Eggo block. The final boss was a cube. Wrap your mind around that square shape. Okay? That was the final boss of the series. Now that this series is over, I could finally say what I want to say about this series. It's a clusterfuck. It is a clusterfuck of story plot elements and subplots and different things like that. I'm actually going to dive deep and talk about how I truly feel about this entire series and talk about what is wrong, what was good, different stuff like that. There was way too many introductions of different factions, too many characters, different subplots, different romances, and it just felt like it was forced together. Seriously, it felt like too much shit was going on. Let me explain why this is a bad ending for Captain Earth. The Live Lasters. We find out like 3 to 4 episodes ago, not even halfway in the series, more near towards the ending of the series, we find out Live Lasters are like a different sentient being. They think for themselves, they're different entire beings, like immortal beings. They're never dived into. They're never really explained. They just supposedly have space magic to where they can save Tepe, they can jump through hyperspace, different shit like that. They're pretty much used as a plot device. That's exactly what Live Lasters were used for in Captain Earth. They were a plot device that had no meaning to the absolute story. I mean, they did, but they weren't dived into. Let's talk about Salty Dog. Salty Dog and the rivaling factions, different assholes on Earth. What was the point? What was the point in Salty Dog? Seriously, the factions are still there. What the fuck? They're not even explained. They're just there to be there. So, the factions were introduced, and they're fucking useless by the time they ended this series. So, it felt like that was all useless. All that mumbo-jumbo of, the people crossing their hands like this, like, Soul Deska. Let's fuck over Daichi. Soul Deska. That's exactly what they were saying, pretty much. Like, what the fuck? I don't know if there's a manga to the series. I don't know if Captain Earth has a manga or a light novel. If it does, I'm willing to bet that this was rushed. I am willing to bet this was rushed if it does have a manga or light novel. This is an anime original. This is by far one of the worst series I have seen this year. One of them. Not the worst. It's definitely not the worst, but it's by far one of the worst I have finished and seen. Because there's just too much shit that was going on in the story that they did not explain. Like, the middle half of the series and the beginning half of the series was Monster of the Week. That's pretty much what it was. You have a new planetary gear come in, have to deal with their emotions, and you see a 180 personality change when they get turned into a Kiltagon. That's exactly what it was for a majority of the entire series. And then don't even get me started on the characters. Majority of the characters in this series, honestly, are very plain, average, generic, or cardboard. That's exactly what majority of these characters were. Majority of the characters at the end, Daichi, Tepe, Akari, and, Hana, they really didn't get developed until right towards the end of the series, like the last 4 episodes. I mean, everybody's going to admit these last couple episodes of Captain Earth have been amazing. They haven't been the best, they haven't, but they have been a lot better than other episodes from Captain Earth. And that is not a good thing. 4 or 5 episodes of a 25-episode series doesn't make up for the trash and shit of the other episodes. Because all the other episodes are pretty much pointless at the end of this. Now, let me explain how cheesy this is, okay? I'm not one that strikes at cliches. I don't usually do that. But let me tell you how basic and cliche this series was. Like I said, Monster of the Week with all the Kiltagon. We got that out of the way. All the villains that towards the end of the series at this episode pretty much realized that they were the bad guys, they were the villains, and then they changed their ways. They were taught no jutsu. Pretty much. That's exactly what happened at the end. The power of feelings, destroyed the giant cube final boss. Pretty much. That's exactly what happened at the end of the series. The power of feelings, Daichi and Hana overcame Puck, the final cube boss, and yeah, the cheesiness of that, seriously. What the fuck? And, oh yeah, I like how Daichi was able to fight a giant-ass mech. A big-ass, fucking mech that could supposedly wipe out the Earth if it landed on the Earth. He could fight it with this tiny little-ass robot. He could break through the interior and all sorts of shit. I love how his mech just had upgraded power-up feelings. I love those feelings. This ain't Fairy Tail. Fairy Tail is entertaining and amazing with its power-ups. Okay? Captain Earth is a series that it thrived off a serious matter. It was a serious series. That's exactly what it was. But I can't take it serious when I see shit like this. This is bad. You have a serious series turn into something like this. That's just so fucking beyond cliche. It is cringy. It is so cringy for what they did in this episode and this series. I mean, there's so many death flags these past couple episodes. I was building up some hype for this series because there was some death flags, awesome death flags. I thought the series was going to do something ungeneric. I thought, Daichi was going to die, Hana was going to die, or Teppei was going to die. It was clearly obvious that one of them were going to die. But, no, they didn't do that. They didn't do that. It would have been a good idea to kill Daichi off to kind of, have a correlation with the father, but no, they didn't do that. Or they, at the very least, didn't even kill off Hana. Hana magically is no longer connected to the Blume because, guess what? Puck took control of it, so she's no longer connected to it. You gotta love that writing. That fucking writing is amazing. Oh my god. I'm so glad Puck decided to steal her body this episode. Man, if that didn't happen, I mean, Hana would have died. Think about that. For the most part, the series is very average, and it's exactly why I technically do not like mech anime. I'm not saying all mech anime are bad. I'm not. By no means am I saying mech anime are bad. But this is the exact reason why I tend to kind of steer away from the genre, because it's so cliche. Like, you have aliens come in, this different life form out of space, want to come in, invade Earth, destroy it for some specific reason, or kill humans, take over the Earth, or whatever. It's generic, and that's exactly what this was. At the end of the day, the Kiltragon wanted to come take over Earth, pretty much, because they needed, a power. And then, Puck. Actually, I want to explain about Puck. Puck's motives are fucking stupid. Okay? It was interesting, and I called it that he was the final villain, but let me explain his motives, okay? He wants to embed himself into every sentient being. I stated this last week, and he even says it previously in this episode. Why? Why would he need to do that? Because he already technically is immortal when he's on Earth already. If you think about it, he can already turn people into his slaves, so why the fuck would he do that? Like, his entire motives are wonky and stupid, and they don't make a lot of sense. They don't. It just doesn't. So, again, there's a lot of shit going down at the end of this, like, just so much shit going down at once. Like, you have different power-ups, people fighting, different decisions, character 180, personality, just different stuff like that just did not work. I'm glad the series is over. Thank God Captain Earth is over. I've learned my lesson. I kept watching this series because I thought it was going to get very good, and it was getting good. These last episodes were getting good, but it just, no. I can't overlook this. I can't. I can't overlook this ending. I'm sorry. I really am not blind to this ending of a series. Especially with a series that was trying to be serious. And not just comedy. So, if I had to rate this series, I'm going to be honest here. You all come here for my honesty, and I'm going to tell you what I'll rate it. I'll give it a 4 out of 10 completely in the series. The characters, very lackluster and generic. The plot is very wonky, and you're questioning what the fuck is going on at sometimes with different introductions and different plot elements and subplots. The romance could have been handled a lot better. It was forced at times. The only good character in this series, truthfully to me, is Akardi with her hacker skills, and the last good episode she really had was when she hacked the entire world and was aiming nukes at everybody. That was the last good episode she had. And then you have the entire bitch with how all the characters cliché-ly beat the main villains because of feelings. So, that's it. This is my final review of Captain Earth, and so, yeah, tell me what you thought about this series. Most likely there's going to be a couple of you that really enjoyed this series and probably going to say this is the best anime ever of last season and this season. I'm not putting you down if you think it's, that good. I'm just saying, in my personal opinion, it was not that good. It was very cliche and cheesy. So tell me your thoughts in the comments below. Love you all so much. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.